Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Frank Moore, and I volunteer at the Heights Emergency Food Center. I think in parochial terms, and up until last year, we were serving about 800 people a month. This year, we're serving 1,100. Your truck comes every other Thursday and delivers between 1,000 and 3,500 pounds of food. And we can't get enough cars to bring it. That's why we pay you to bring the truck, and we thank you.
The thing about distributing food is that it's all about logistics. And I think one of the challenges that we face in the distribution system is massive amounts of food, huge number of outlets, and a lot that goes on between them. So the process of having volunteers at member agencies, and as I think people will remember, 84% of the people working at our member agencies are volunteers, means that we need a lot of support, and we need to get more volunteers into the system. One of the things the Cleveland Foodbank has been able to do in the last couple of years is take our large volunteer army and try to place some of those volunteers at member agencies to do things like help unload the truck. Because we recognize that the logistics of the issues that people face that are volunteering in programs are number one. And in fact, we did a survey of our member agencies, and there were a couple of huge priorities that they identified. And another one is space. We can provide grants, we can provide equipment, but at the end of the day, we can't make the church basement any bigger. And so that's why we've done things like try to improve and grow our farmers market program and try to expand to mobile pantries, because there are limited resources. And I am so grateful and inspired by people like you. So I think it's tremendous.
Hello. I'm Paula Mader-Connor, pastor at Trinity Lutheran Church in Lakewood. We host 3 community meals a month and are looking for another group of volunteers to come and do a 4th meal a month.
You just got an advertisement in front of
yes,
like
we have
260 people. You want to shout out your phone number?
226-8087.
We work well together on that.
Yeah, thanks so much. We're seeing an increasing number of folks my age, the baby boomers, showing up. And I was astounded by the demographics or the statistics you mentioned with regards to the children. And certainly we need to feed our children first. But what will the food bank do in the future for the increasing number of people my age and younger that are now growing into retirement age that are being seen more and more at the meals that we provide?
I'm really glad you brought that up, because often one of the headlines, as well it should be, about the study is the staggering number of children, nationally 14.9 or 13.9 million. And here I think I mentioned 85,000. But the senior issues are only going to get bigger. We talk in percentages a lot, and I've been doing this for 15 years and been involved in 4 hunger studies. And that senior population obviously is just growing. The percentage is growing. So, and it will continue to do so. The baby boomers are going to age. They're a big part of our population, and the numbers will simply, we know how they're going to lay out. We have warning. People are living longer, and that's a great thing in my view, except for you don't get the raise every year that it takes to perhaps live as long as you would like to. So people actually, in literal terms, get poorer every year as they faced increased challenges and choices between medicine and food and mobility issues. So we work with a lot of programs that serve seniors. In fact, one of our I mentioned our community kitchen and it being basically a catering operation. Well, we actually produce little, what I call TV dinners, in those plastic covered containers that can be put in a microwave or in the oven, and they're delivered to seniors. I think what we and our member agencies are going to have to talk a lot about, not in the not distant future, is how do we deal with the mobility issue of seniors? How can we get enough volunteers to get to them? Because getting seniors to an agency is one thing. How are they going to carry home the stuff from the pantry? Again, it sort of speaks to that issue of logistics being kind of the central issue. So the short answer to your question is, if you've got any bright ideas, I'm all ears. But I think that we know we've got an issue coming up, and I think that we need to think about it I think even one level deeper in terms of how we're going to address the mobility issue that seniors are facing. Oh, good. I don't know the rules. I just got to come back.
A smart idea would be to give every church the amount of money they need to put an elevator into our church basement.
You ain't kidding.
And thank you for painting a very, very clear picture of a very, very sad reality in our community. Thank you, and the army of volunteers and agencies that you support through the food bank. A couple of months ago, a study was commissioned by some of the foundations, including the one where I work, to determine whether or not there were opportunities to achieve greater scale, greater economy by perhaps looking at opportunities to work for the various food programs to work better together. The Plain Dealer did a great job of sharing sort of the results of that study and the opportunities. I wonder if you could bring us up to date on what's been happening and what opportunities you see for the various hunger programs within our community to meet the goal of feeding more hungry people with our diminishing resources.
Thank you. We work in partnership, as I mentioned, with 480 member agencies. We also work in partnership with the Salvation Army, which runs several agencies, and Catholic Charities, which runs several agencies, and the Hunger Network of Greater Cleveland, which runs several agencies. And so there is a wonderful spirit of partnership in our community as it relates to working together to feed hungry people. But the times are more desperate than ever. And one fact I didn't mention was that while we pat ourselves, I think, a lot on the back, at least we do back at my office, for having increased our distribution by 26% last year, our agencies reported a 31% increase. The pantries reported a 31% increase in the number of clients they're serving. So we're actually not doing enough. And what that means is we need to squeeze every efficiency out of, in my view, every efficiency out of the hunger system that we possibly can. If there is $1 and we can put it towards providing food for hungry people, $1 is enough for 4 meals. So what the study uncovered and has really, I think, illustrated for our community is the cost effectiveness of having a food bank. I always say food banks would have invented themselves if they hadn't been invented, because it just makes sense, the way you stretch and leverage resources in terms of volunteer time, $1 million worth of volunteer time, and small donations from people like you and me. So it's a well-leveraged system that works, and if we can save money by reducing costs and getting more pounds out the door, that is our mantra. That's our job. That is the most important thing to do. So if consolidation can help that, if there are other efforts in the community that can help bring more resources to create efficiency in the system, then I think that's something that we all need to look at and recognize. We need to come together as a community. This is the community's effort to feed hungry people. You're all here because you care about feeding hungry people. And so I am tremendously humbled by the interest that the foundation community in Cleveland has displayed, and by the interest that Cuyahoga County has displayed in wanting to look at ways to make this more efficient. So I see opportunities. I'm hopeful that with funding from the county and other funders, we're going to be able to make this more efficient all the time. And I do hope there are opportunities for further collaboration, even consolidation.